Welcome into round four, Throttle Freaks. This week we head to Mugello Circuit. A little bit about Mugello, Rich. It's a legendary motorsport venue nestled in the picturesque hills of Tuscany, Italy. A lot of people go to Tuscany for vacation, and that's just where this track is located. It was built in 1974. World-class track is located in Scarperia e San Piero within the Florence province of Italy. It spans 5.24 kilometers, 3.259 miles, 15 corners, making it a favorite among race fans and racers alike. It's been owned since 1988 by Ferrari. The circuit's renowned for its high-speed straights and technical corners. We'll see plenty of that tonight. It's mostly used for MotoGP anymore, occasional GT racing, but we've brought some GT machinery here tonight, Rich, to this famed track in Italy. I know it's not a track that you've spent much time in. I think you actually just bought it this week for the league session itself. So you did a little bit of research on YouTube, learning the track and so forth. What did you find out?
Yeah, it's definitely a technical track with one really long straightaway. F1 last ran there, I think, in 2020 during the COVID years, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of technical sections here with limited passing opportunities, Rob. But we'll see what these 30 some odd drivers can do tonight here.
Yeah, not a whole lot of overtaking opportunities. We were talking about that just off camera. That really, you've got turn number one, and I guess more or less the last corner. If somebody makes a mistake here or there on the track, obviously you can make a pass, but really those are your two opportunities to get something done. But we're in the middle of qualifying. We're just waiting for our race times to come in here. Looks like we got a little bit of a hang up on the timing and scoring. We'll just reset that quickly and get that back out there. But while that's kicking off, Rich, let's take a quick look at the championship standings here before we get into qualifying. We'll start with the pro category, where we got David Busch leading the way, 119 points. His gaps closed the last couple races. Felix Feliz now only 3 points back. Tyler Graff another 5 points back in third. So right now, top three kind of running away with it. P4 and 5 tied at 79 points each. Andrew Trickett, Jay Steffi. Then we see Jared Keane in sixth. Brett Thurman in seventh. Colin McKenzie in eighth with 65 points. Seb Gauthier in ninth with 57 points. Dale Peterson rounding out the top 10. Then we'll just give a quick little scroll here through the rest of them, so everybody out there can have a look and see how they're shaping up. So while that's going, we'll pop up the AM, and why don't you just read us through the AM standings here, Rich?
Yeah, we've got Kevin Bergquist sitting in first place with 98 points, followed by Waldo Walden with 87 points in second. Josh Sheps rounds up the top three with 81 points, but he's also tied with Robert Jeffries. In fifth place, we have Dave Jensen, followed by Luke Davis, then Drew DeWeese, then Nathan Doogie, and Jacob Finkner. Rounding out the top 10, we've got Ian Cabana, and then we'll scroll through the rest.
Yeah, we've got, looks like 21 drivers have shown up so far in the AM category. And then last but not least, we got a team championship going on here. Take a quick look at our teams battle. It's fairly tight too as well, like the pro category up the top. We've got Lunatic Racing leading. Oh, hold on. I think that's actually last week's standings, as I believe that Lunatic has fallen down below the standings. We'll see if we can get those updated later on in the show, as I know I updated it, but for some reason we're not getting the most recent standings, Rich. But either way, I can tell you that Lunatic has fallen out of top spot in the AM standings.
Yeah, Lunatic had a great first couple of weeks, but last week lost their lead, it looks like. But we'll see what they can do here tonight.
Yeah, we got times coming in. See that right now we've got Nathan Doogie up top of the standings as it stands right now with a 147.2, just 1/10 ahead of Jason Park. So right now we've got an AM leading qualifying as it stands right now. We saw that in round one where Ross Sortino, our AM driver, was able to take the win. So Nathan Doogie looking strong in qualifying right now. He's 1/10 up of Zach Mosley in class. I don't think we've seen Zach much this season. I think he's only shown up for one race so far. I believe this is his second race in the season. So interesting to see what he's got in store for our field. But right now, he and Nathan Doogie kind of leading the field around here in the AM class. But Jason Park not too far back. Tyler Graff, one of our championship contenders in the pro class, only 3/100ths back of Jason Park in the pro class. And then we get Zach Mosley, Jay Steffi, another strong showing for him right now. David Morris, strong showing up, sitting third in the AM class, which would put him sixth overall right now.
Yeah, I believe David was actually the fastest person in the practice session before qualifying tonight. So David's really got some pace tonight.
Yeah, we've raced with David Morse for many years in PRL and now Throttle Freaks. So it's nice to see him moving up through the standings, as well as we mentioned last week, Brett Thurman. We spent plenty of time on track with him too, as well. Let's take a look and see where some of our championship contenders are standing as we on board with Tyler Graff, currently sitting in third overall in qualifying. See, doesn't look like David Bush is in the session right now. So our championship leader in the pro class looks like he's not going to make the race this week. Interesting results will be playing out there, Rich, but we'll see how that plays out. Kevin Berquist was our leader in AM. See how he's shaping out here. Currently sitting in 14th overall for him.
Yeah, it's Kevin's had a decent season so far, but always looking to improve. 14th overall right now. That's not bad. It looks like we've got so far. It looks like we've got 30 cars out on track, so he's right about mid pack right now.
Yeah, mid pack. It's going to be, as we mentioned in the pre show, it's going to be tough to make passes around here, Rich. So they're going to want to try and get themselves up towards the front as quickly as possible. Seb Gauthier, another one of our strong contenders in the AM class, currently sitting in 9th place right now. Maybe looking to improve on that, but looks like we've got another mix of more or less Acuras and Porsches at the front of the grid here again. Rich, we got one lonely McLaren sitting in the top 13 here of Patrick Farrell, currently in 9th spot. Oh, I say that, but then Zach Mosley jumps up into 4th with the Corvette. I believe that might be our lone Corvette. Oh no, we got another one of Joseph Carnes. So we got two Corvettes in the field trying to battle all of the Acura and Porsche power out here this evening.
Yeah, it's nice to see a Corvette. It's a little bit of American muscle up near the front of the pack. That's the first time I think we've seen that this season. The Ferrari's not doing so well, but surprisingly, we've got Acuras up top, and we've been used to seeing Porsches kind of occupying those spaces. So looks like we've got a pretty good mix tonight. Although no Lambo with David Bush III not being able to make it tonight, it looks like.
Yeah, our lone Lambo not showing up this evening, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects his championship standings. Another couple rounds, we should start seeing the drop weeks start to play into the championship. So we'll see who gets to drop a unfavorable result and move up through the field. But let's take a look a little further back. As mentioned, Ross Sortino, our winner of round one, hasn't fared too well the last few weeks. Probably a couple of weeks he'd like to write out of his memory banks, that's for sure. But right now, sitting in 19th place, as you mentioned, the Ferrari's not showing real well tonight. We saw that last week they didn't fare too well either in either series, the fixed or the open series. A couple of our open sprint series, real strong drivers in the Ferraris really struggled last week at Portimao. And it looks like, again, this week the Ferraris are going to struggle at Mugello.
Yeah, it's the Ferraris, like you said, they were really up at the top earlier in the season, but the last couple weeks, not so much there. You take a look at Patrick Farrell coming around. Patrick's sitting 4th overall right now, just over a 10th off the current pole sitter of Nathan Doogie, and you know, t- qualifying time's over, so we're just completing our last final laps and see who remains where.
Yeah, so open qualifying. So as long as they cross the line before the clock ticked over to the 15-minute mark, they can finish their lap. It looks like Patrick Farrell is going to call it quits on that one. He's going to pull it into the pits instead of finishing his lap. But on board here with Herbert Pineda. Herbert suffered a fairly hefty penalty to start in race one of the season. He's been trying to dig himself out of the negative points so far, but we see him heading to the line here now. Currently in 8th spot. See if he's able to improve on his 147.5 from earlier on. Now 147.7 is going to keep him into 8th. Fortunately for him, unable to improve. Looks like our last car on track right now is Ian Cabana as he's heading into, looks like, the final corner here now. So once Ian crosses the line, that should wrap up our qualifying.
Yeah, it's nice close nice close qualifying up in all the way up through. It looks like the top seven were less than 2/10, Rob. So these guys are close, but track position is key here. So looks like Nathan Doogie is going to remain on pole. So it's his to walk away at the start and see what he can do.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm just having a quick look before we bring up the grid here. But it looks like from P1 all the way back to 20th place, Rich, separated by 1 second. That's 20 cars in under 1 second. That's impressive qualifying out there this evening. But let's bring up the grid here. We'll take a look and see how our drivers are going to line up here, Rich. Hold on. Why does it not want to bring it up here for us?
Oh, just got a couple seconds here.
Are we still waiting? I thought we had finished up and clicked over.
Yeah.
So while that's going, let's take a quick look here at the schedule, Rich. And here we are, round 4 at Mugello. We've got a few more weeks to go, 10 weeks in the season. Next week we head to Road America. I know it's a favorite of both of ours, Road America. So looking forward to that. And then we head back after Road America in round 5 to Circuit of Americas in round 6, a track that I don't mind in open wheels, but not a big fan of it in the GT class. But Road Atlanta, another great track. Le Mans, always popular. Sebring, again, we just had the 12 hours of Sebring a few weeks ago, so drivers will be very familiar with the Sebring layout. And then we're going to wrap it all up back in Italy again at Imola.
Yeah, great season, great schedule. So let's take a look at the qualifying efforts here. We got Nathan Doogie on pole, followed by Jason Park. Tyler Graff sitting third, followed by Patrick Farrell in fourth. We've got Zach Mosley in fifth, followed by Jared Keene. In seventh, Seb Gauthier, followed by Herbert Pineda. In ninth, we've got Jay Steffi, followed by David Morse. 11th, Brett Thurman, followed by Andrew Trickett.
Yeah, and then we're going to find Waldo Walden in 13th, Jacob Fichtner in 14th, Colin McKenzie in 15th, Kevin Berquist in 16th, Josh Sheps in 17th, Dale Peterson in 18th, Ross Sortino in 19th, Andrew Venero is going to start 20th, Christopher Rhines in 21st, Joseph Carnes in 22nd, Robert Jeffries in 23rd, Luke Davis in 24th.
Rounding out the field here, we've got Neil Alexander, 25th, followed by Dave Jensen. 27th, we have Alex Wright, followed by Chris Halstead. In 29th, we've got Drew DeWeese. And rounding out our field tonight, we've got Ian Cabana.
Yeah, 30 cars on the grid, Rich. It's going to be fairly hectic out there for turn 1. So hopefully our drivers are cautious and ready to go, not getting that wrapped up in anything. We hate to see anybody lose out on a great race into turn 1, but here we go. Get the field heading around behind the Porsche pace car. Looks like we're doing a short lap, pace lap again this week, which we always love to see and appreciate.
And we see lots of gravel, it looks like already. Rob kicked up onto the track.
Yeah, the session should just carry over from qualifying. So any of that gravel that was kicked over during qualifying, still going to be out there. We don't send the track crew out to sweep it off or get out the blowers. It's everyone for himself at this point in time, Rich.
We're just coming through turn 14. We've just got the big left-hand sweeper leading onto the front straight before we get this race underway. Nathan Doogie sitting on pole, looking to take advantage of that situation. Our top amateur, also our pole sitter tonight.
Yeah, again, this is 2 out of 4 weeks now that one of our AM drivers is qualified on pole. So we'll see if he's able to convert it into the win like Sortino did in week 1. But Jason Park, Tyler Graff, and the likes in behind are going to try and have something to say about that. Is into the final corner. There goes the pace car ducking in. Now we're just waiting for the field to head to the green. Barney's got his green flag ready. Looks like the wind's blowing it around already. He hasn't waved it yet, but there they go. We're off into turn one, Rich. Round four of Throttle Freaks underway.
And
Looks like
Nathan Dookie got a good jump, but Jason Park all over the back of him, going to the outside, trying to make a move. And Jason Park looks like he may have that move done. And Jason Park looks like he's jumping out into the lead here after the first corner.
yeah, excellent move by Park. Gets the run down the front straight, capitalizes on Doogie not getting the best start off the line, but Park throwing a little bit of gravel up on his compatriots in behind, trying to shower the Acura of Doogie with a little bit of sand and dust, but Doogie not falling for it. He's got Patrick Farrell, our pretty much lone off make in the top 15 here that isn't a Porsche or Acura, trying to find his way through to the front. Currently in third place, he's got Tyler Graff pushing hard on his back bumper. Graff, one of our top contenders in the Pro Class. He'd love to get up there ahead of Jason Park and snatch away those points.
Yeah, he certainly would. Here we are. We're coming into corner 10, and big, oh, wow. Big moves going on here. Tyler Graff really sending it in there hard. And here we are, Rob. We're great battling on lap one. Nice, clean lap. It looks like we may have just had one incident, but otherwise, all the other drivers getting through clean.
Yeah, there was Dave Jensen. Something just happened to him. Let's take a quick look here at what happened to him. And the Millennium Motorsport Porsche looks like he's heading into the curve. Going to lose the back end. A little bit of pendulum effect on that. Looks like he might have got bumped in the rear end earlier on, but should be able to save that, get back out on track. But unfortunately, not the race start he was looking for. But it looks like we had a couple cars going off track early on too as well. See what happened to Jay Steffi. Oh, Steffi off into the barrier. See if we can pick up what happened to him earlier on. Here's what happened to him moments ago. Oh, looks like he got tapped possibly by, not sure if that was Jared Keene up there. It looked like one of the SRTE green cars got into the side of Steffi, sent him off into the barrier. So to see if the stewards need to put a rolling in on that later this week. But right now up front,
Yeah.
Tyler Graff got around Patrick Farrell early on. Farrell trying to get that spot back immediately, not willing to just let Graff have it. But while they battle, Jason Park, Nathan Doogie able to open up 1 second over third place of Tyler Graff.
Yeah, the more they battle, the further back they're going to fall. But Tyler Graff looking to move forwards, making after that great move he did on Patrick Farrell. Unfortunately, it looks like Jay Steffi's race may be over. He's had to jump to the pits for damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like as he was pulling away from the wall, it looked like the back end of that car was going to dog walking on him. So that doesn't spell a happy race car by any sort. So no surprise to see him have to pull into the pits. We got a battle here between Andrew Venero, Dale Peterson, and Joseph Carnes. That's for 18th overall. And they are all in our pro class. That's a position battle as well as a points battle here.
Yeah, we've got a big train of cars in this section here. We've got this set of four, and then follow right behind them. It looks like another set of 6 or 7 that are, within striking range as long as they don't battle too hard and they start closing up that gap. Just look at that big long snake of cars going down the straightaway there.
Yeah, there's not much separation amongst the field here right now, Rich. So everybody's still fairly nose to tail, but not a whole lot of battling going on. A lot of single file follow the leader right now. Guys kind of try and get a feel for the race. Looks like Waldo Walden making a move on Kevin Bergquist. See if Walden's able to complete that pass. They're both going wide, plenty of room in between them. That's something you see with the FIA Grade 1 Formula 1 type tracks where there's generally very wide track widths. You can get 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, even if you want in some spots rich wide on the track and not have to worry about track space. As we see Waldo Walden was able to make that pass on Bergquist. It's going to move him up into 14th spot, down 1 spot from where he qualified. But right now, looks like our biggest mover and shaker is just ahead of them in Ross Sortino, up 6 spots where he qualified into 13th overall.
Yeah, Ross looking for that bounce back after a couple of unfortunate weeks. Great improvement to start this race, and now looking for more. He's looking to try and catch up and close up on Brett Thurman ahead of him. And that train of cars, he separated that gap a little bit to Waldo Walden and moving forwards.
Oh, we see, looks like just ahead of this battle between Herbert Pineda and Alex Wright. Looks like Drew DeWeese was out in the kitty litter throwing up a whole bunch of dirt up on track, but right now Herbert Pineda trying to make it around Alex Wright. Alex Wright up 2 spots from where he qualified into 25th. Pineda down 18 spots. Take a look and see if I can see what happened to Herbert Pineda, but definitely not the start of the race that he was looking for by any means.
No, Herbert had some fortunate troubles early on, but with his pace, even though it's a tough track to pass on, I expect him to certainly improve upon where he's sitting right now.
I think this might be it here. This looks like, looks like he got caught up with Jay Steffi early on, spun off track, so keeps it off the wall by the looks of it, but loses a ton of time early on, so not the race he wanted to have as he makes the move around Alex right there. That's going to move him back up 1 spot into 25th overall. Spot back
Gonna
up
move
here.
back towards the front.
Yep.
We've got Tyler Graff here sitting in 2nd place in class. Tyler 3rd overall. He still hasn't been able to close that gap though to Nathan Doogie ahead, and he's got that train of cars behind him.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Graff and Farrell are really battling all that much anymore. Farrell's kind of fallen off the back of Tyler Graff's rear bumper, so now he's having to deal with Jared Keane and Zach Mosley in behind. So right now, Farrell's went from being on the offensive to having to go on the defensive as we see Farrell rocking the Pit Road Productions logo on the spoiler. So we'll definitely give him props for that out there tonight, but he's got a couple mirrors full of Jared Keane in that black, white, and green SRTE green machine in behind.
Yeah, the SRTE green cars are having a pretty good day so far. Continue looking on here with Jared Keane. Jared trying to keep that gap closed and get close to Patrick Farrell. So far right now, though, driver's nose to tail, just following the leader.
Yeah, a whole lot of follow the leader going on right now. A lot of cars on track separated by a couple of tenths, but they're not really battling. They're just going to follow each other around. You can look down the front straight. It's just single file the whole way through. No real battles going on. Nobody really getting enough of a run in the fixed setups here to make a move into turn 1. But right now we're on board with Andrew Trickett. He's trying to catch Joseph Carnes up ahead. That's a battle for 18th overall. Carnes in the Solpec racing machine. I believe he's the lone driver representing Solpec in the league, which is interesting because the league admin, Nick McLaughlin, actually manages the Solpec racing team, but they've got a number of drivers in the sprint series we'll see after this one. So kind of surprising they only got the one driver in the fixed series, but Joseph trying to represent that squad as it is out here tonight.
And he's doing quite well in that Corvette. Nice to see. Meanwhile, we're going to pick it back up with Jared Keane in car. Jared's still trying to make close that gap to Patrick Farrell up ahead, but continues following him around the track as Patrick Farrell's following around Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff not being able to close on Nathan Doogie at this stage.
Yeah, Doogie's still holding out strong up front. He lost that spot early to Jason Park, but Doogie not allowing Park to really run away from him. Still holding back 1.6 seconds between the two of them. They still have that 1 second over Tyler Graff. Tyler had opened up a bit of a gap over Patrick Farrell, but we're starting to see Farrell claw back that gap between he and Graff, as it looks like the 3 cars of Farrell, Keane, and Mosley. And it looks like a little bit Seb Gauthier just kind of out of the picture there too as well. Those 3 cars working together to try and chase back down Tyler Graff so they can have a battle for 3rd place. They might be wise, the group of them, just kind of work together, Rich, trying to close down on the leaders, draft together, leapfrog if they need to on the straights, and save the battling for later on.
Yeah, we still got 26 minutes left in this race. Lots of racing left to go and the mandatory pit stop. So no sense fighting now. Save it for later. Try and close that gap up. Fight when the time's there.
Yeah, no doubt. Looks like something happened to Andrew Trickett. Let's take a quick look here. Take a break in the action, see what happened to Trickett coming through another Porsche. It's going to feel the pendulum effect, the back end swinging around. So he keeps it off the wall for the most part. He'll be able to keep going, so only time lost. But he's going to lose a number of positions there too as he heads back on track.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's dropped, looks like 7 or so positions from that little incident. But we're going to follow along with Zach Mosley with that fantastic paint job. Zach sticking all over the back bumper of Jared Keene, but trying to make it nice and tight, close that gap up. Following Zach, we got Zeb Gautier, but Zeb just not having a chance to close up that. These guys are battling hard, but really, it's really hard to pass here. So they're just biding their time, hoping for a mistake for the guy ahead of them, I believe.
Yeah, Mosley is one of our AM class drivers, kind of split up in between two of the pro cars. Actually, he's him and Nathan Doogie are, I believe, our only AM drivers in the top 7 right now. So a tough showing for them right now, or I shouldn't say tough showing, great showing for them right now. It looks like Mosley looking to the inside of Keene. We'll see if he gets a run. So he's going to make that pass. He's trying to close over in front of Keene now. So they're going to kind of draft together to work down the front straight, see if they can catch Farrell. Looks like Farrell thinking about making a move on Graf into turn 1. He's got the inside. Graf's going to have to try and power around the outside. But if Graf can hold that position, he'll have the inside preferred line for the next corner. He's holding on strong. Farrell's going to have to try and go around the outside, but then it's going to switch back again. Farrell will have the inside again. At this point in time, they're good for another little short straight, but then Graf will have the inside position again. They're going to go 2 by 2 through the next set of corners. Neither one willing to give up at this point in time. Great battle here between the McLaren and the Porsche, but while they've done that, look at that. Zach Mosley closing in. He's going to try and take advantage of Patrick Farrell around the outside, as Farrell had to back out a little bit of his battle with Graf. Zach Mosley going to take that position away, so not the way Patrick Farrell saw that happening at all.
No, it's always disappointing. You try to make that move, and if you don't get the move done, the guys are close enough behind, you're not going forward, you're going backwards.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that just tightened up the battle here. We've got these 5 cars all nose to tail now. That used to be just a grouping of 3, but with all that battling, that's allowed Jason Park, Nathan Doogie to pull a little bit ahead and tighten up the battle for the podium, the 3rd and final podium position.
Yeah, last step on the podium definitely up for play right now. We're only 12 minutes into this 35-minute race, so still plenty of time for things to shake out here. Plenty of time for Patrick Farrell to try and close that gap back, but right now he's got a couple of SRTE cars in behind him of Seb Gautier and Jared Keene. Keene trying to put some pressure on the back of Farrell. They're starting to sense a little bit of blood in the water. They saw Farrell lose a couple spots there to Graf and Mosley, so they're trying to take advantage too as well, but actually not too far behind now, Rich. And kind of just see in the distance David Morse and Jacob Fichtner, another couple SRTE drivers lurking in the background, trying to close in on that gap too as well. And then another one of Brett Thurman. So the SRTE machinery, various team groupings up here. I believe some of them are the black team, some of them the green team, even though they have the green paint jobs on them. But strong showing from SRTE. They're occupying from 6th place to 10th place right now in the standings.
Yeah, that section of track is just full of them, and a great job by that team. And Brett Thurman, here, take a look at sitting in 10th overall. We're gonna go back to Andrew Trickett and see how he's doing in his recovery. He's made up 3 of the positions he lost with that little off-track excursion, and he's looking for more. Andrew all over the back of Dale Peterson here as we're coming around. Looks like he's gonna have to wait a couple of more corners here, get close up again. Another Pit Road Productions little banner there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get Dale Peterson to flip that 180 degrees, though. He's got it facing the wrong way, but we'll give him the props for having it on there. But he's getting a ton of pressure from Andrew Trickett, who down 4 spots where he qualified. We saw Trickett had a little bit of an off-track excursion not too long ago, and he'll be trying to snatch those spots back. But they got Josh Sheps just up ahead of him. Josh in the one of the few other McLarens we have out here.
Oh,
Andrew,
no. It looks like that Porsche just spun around as he's trying to make that move. We were
that
watching
was
earlier
Andrew
there.
Trickett just lost it again. Fortunate Porsche incident, back end pendulum effect. Just drives it deep into the corner, and unfortunately when you do that with a Porsche and drive in too hard, the pendulum effect, the back end starts to slide around the motor over the rear tires, and that's what happens 9 times out of 10. Oh, we got, looks like Joseph Carnes just lost it in the final corner here. See if we can catch a quick replay here, what happened to him. Joseph in the Corvette heading deep in. Gonna be similar, I think, to what we just saw happen to Trickett. loses the back end, but I think that was more of a getting onto the throttle a little too hard, a little too soon. It's like everybody able to sort him out so far. I'm not sure why he towed. He was right there at the pit lane. He could have kept going, but unfortunately for
That's
Joseph,
rather
that's going to drop him quite a ways back.
that's rather unfortunate for Joseph. Meanwhile, we're going to pick it back up near the front. We've got Patrick Farrell leading this train here. He's got Zach Mose right behind him, followed by the SRT cars of Jared Green and Seb Gauthier. Patrick, fourth overall right now, having a great battle with this pack of cars. Meanwhile, it looks like while this is going on, Tyler Graff has pulled a little bit of a gap on Mosley, or I'm sorry, on Farrell, and happy to get out of that little battle that was going on.
Yeah, once Graf kind of confirmed himself up into P3 after the battle with Patrick Farrell, he was able to open up a bit of a gap as Farrell really trying to be on the defensive now with Mosley and those pair of SRTE cars behind of Keane and Gauthier, as you mentioned. So Farrell doing more mirror watching than windshield watching at this point in time. That never bodes to quick lap times.
Yeah, it's tough when you know you've got those guys battling hard behind you and just not being able to make a move. We'll take a look at Jacob Fichtner here. Another one of the SRT. This one named the SRTE Black. And, ooh, Brett Thurman coming in. It looks like one of our early pit stops, scheduled pit stop, and probably the first one so far tonight.
Yeah, we've had a couple takers earlier on, but he's our highest placed car into pit road right now. So we'll see if the undercut works for Brett. We haven't really seen the undercut work all that much this season so far, Rich, but you can see there that Patrick Farrell goes a little wide, drops a tire into the dirt. That's going to allow Zach Mosley to close back up in on that battle. So Farrell, not the best last few laps that he would have liked to put on the board, but he's held on to P5 right now where he qualified. He had a little bit of battling to do, a little couple spots lost, couple spots gained, but in the end, it's worked back out to where he's qualified. So we'll see if he's able to hold on to that. But a little further back in the field, looks like we got Luke Davis and Andrew Trickett battling. We've seen Trickett have his trials and tribulations here tonight. We'll see if Davis is able to make a move into turn one. He's tucked tight on the rear bumper of Trickett. He's going to pull out for the move here now. We'll see if he gets it done and dusted into turn one. The Ferrari that we mentioned were kind of struggling the last couple of weeks. Again, it looks like this Ferraris just don't have the top end speed that they need to make the moves on the straights.
Yeah, I mean, you need to make that move down at the end of that pit lane straightaway, and they both going a little wide. But here at Mugello, you really got to make full use of all of the curbing and maybe a little bit more in order to maximize your lap times, as we see a lot of dust kicked up here and there by the drivers. That's just the only way to go fast around here.
Yeah, you've really got to maximize the track limits. For the most part, the track limits are fairly lenient here. There's a couple spots where it's really tight, where you drop a tire off on curbing, maybe a half tire width more than what you would expect to get dinged for a 1X. But for the most part, they're fairly lenient. Not quite as tight as a track, say like Imola, another Italian track that we'll see at the end of the season, where the track limits are severe there, in my opinion. It's really tough not to get into the incident limits at any race in Imola. But just up ahead, it looks like Nathan Doogie starting to feel some pressure from Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff putting in some hot laps here, the last few laps. He's been able to close down Nathan Doogie in second. So we get a battle now for all three positions on the podium other than Jason Park. He's been able to just kind of get out front and walk away from these guys. Now we got a 5-second gap over P2.
Yeah, Nathan Doogie's done a great job of, maintaining. He had the pole, but, the fuel load's getting lighter. The tires are getting a little more worn, and the pressure is coming from Tyler Graff. Tyler, not happy with third place. Had a little bit of struggle earlier on trying to make advances, but closed up that gap dramatically. Let's see if Nathan can run some clean laps here and hold Tyler off.
Yeah, definitely. Let's take a look here quickly at what happened to Jacob Fichtner moments ago, as it looks like Fichtner heading in through the downhill section, sweeping section. Again, another Porsche losing the back end.
And we've seen that so many times this season, Rob. Not a big surprise, but it's, I had that happen to me actually on Sunday night in a race, and it's, it's disheartening when it happens to you.
I think we've all had it happen many times, Rich, many times. Let's take a
Meanwhile,
look
back up.
here. Josh Sheps, two other McLarens other than Patrick Farrell battling it out here as we're starting to see more and more cars duck into the pits. Andrew Venero is in there. Patrick Farrell, our P4, is ducked into the pits. So we'll see if Patrick's able to relieve some of the pressure he was feeling from Zach Mosley and be able to work on through that. As not sure if something happened to Mosley. I'm trying to find him on timing and scoring here. Actually, I don't see him at all. He's fallen all the way back to that 17th place. Oh, he came in for his service. That explains it. I didn't catch him coming in. So Mosley and Farrell came in for service early. We'll see how Graf, Doogie, and Keen respond to that, as they were the rest of the players in that main battle that we were focusing on not too long ago.
Guys, I'm going to steal one of your lines, Rob. It looks like Tyler Graff's getting a little impatient and trying to give Nathan Doogie the razzle dazzle ahead of him, and Doogie's having none of it. Doing a great job keeping his lines and holding Tyler Graff at bay for now.
Yeah, when in doubt, give them the razzle dazzle, let them know you're there. But looks like Doogie doing well to hold some tight lines, using the strengths of that Acura. It's a great car under the brakes. You really need to utilize that. But again, the Porsche is also great on the brakes too as well. So it will interesting to see which one kind of ends up out front. But right now, Nathan Doogie doing well to hold on to P2 after starting on pole. Take a little look back here farther as Zach Mosley and Patrick Farrell have come out for their service. And guess what? They're still more or less embroiled in this battle on track. So as the rest of the cars cycle through, they should continue to battle up towards the front of the field, as it looks like more of our front runners starting to come in. Seb Gauthier, David Morris, Kevin Berquist, Jacob Fichtner, all into the pits. We've yet to see our leader, Jason Park, Doogie, or Graf in, but Graf closing that gap again on Doogie, trying to put a ton of pressure on him anywhere he can. But Graf building sandcastles out there off the exit of that corner. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, but it didn't look like it cost him a whole lot of time. He's able to kind of power through the sand again, going a little farther to the left. He's going to want to stay a little farther to the right there, because I raced this track earlier this week, or actually I guess it was late last week, in a another fun league racing on the weekend, and I actually dropped a couple tires out there in the Acura I was driving, albeit, but it wasn't a big fan of dropping tires into the dirt, Rich. It was willing to send me for a spin if I got out there into the real kitty litter stuff.
Well, the problem is you just didn't put your beach towel down on the sand before you laid down on it. So, Nathan Doogie's still doing a great job holding up Tyler Graff. We're on lap 13. We're just 12 minutes left in this race. Take it back to Zach Mosley. He's at 6th place right now. Looks like most of our guys have pitted so far, and it's just a matter of time until we get everybody through and cycle through and see where everybody remains.
Yeah, we're just waiting on our everybody in the top 10 has yet to pit. But I mentioned that our race leader, Jason Park, has just come in for pit cycle. Looks like Tyler Graff, Jared Keene coming in too as well. But it looks like Nathan Doogie saved enough fuel, he believes, to run another lap. So that's going to put Doogie back up front where he qualified on pole out front. So we'll be able to see if he's able to put in a real hot lap here, Rich. He's going to need one to try and close down the gap on Park at all, and as well as try and open up a bit of a gap over Tyler Graff, who was putting a ton of pressure on him the last few laps.
I believe there may be some championship points awarded for leading a lap in a race. So if Nathan can stay out, well, why not stay out and take advantage of that situation?
I can't remember off the top of my head whether there is points for leading a lap or not. But either way, if there is, he's gaining that point. Christopher Ryan's another driver who's going to go with that extra lap. So we'll see if Christopher's got enough fuel to get around there. But Jason Park back on track as the pit stops cycle through. Currently in 3rd spot. We're still waiting for Doogie and Rhines to come in, but Rhines won't really be a player at the front. He's going to fall a little farther back on the pack, only 5 seconds up on Jason Park right now. We yet to service his car, but pick up our leader, Nathan Doogie, heading into the final set of corners. You got this one here, then the quick little left-hander sweeper onto the front straight, and then we should see him pop into the pits this time by.
Yeah, this nice little section of track. Get a little S-bend section, but it's full out. No need to lift. Nathan, he just has to hit his marks, make sure he doesn't take any speeding violations. He wants to come out where he went in. He wants to come out in second if he can.
Yeah, there he comes in for his service. We'll pick up Jason Park, who should cycle through back into the lead. He had that 5-second gap prior to pit stops. I can't see Nathan Doogie saving 5 seconds of time through the pit cycles, but he might be able to pop back out in front of Tyler Graff. That'll be the real interesting battle to see where that cycles through, as Graff now heading into the final left-hand sweeper. Doogie still in his pit stall as we have a look at Graff. Graff's going to head by the pit entrance now. Doogie's still in his stall, hasn't left yet. There he's leaving now. Graff, I believe, is going to take P2 away from Nathan Doogie. Graff will be up to speed heading into turn 1. Doogie will still be on cold tires. He's actually going to fall behind Farrell, Keane, Mosley, Gauthier. Not the stop that Nathan Doogie wanted to have. Unfortunate for him. It's going to drop him all the way back to 7th place. Oh, but just ahead of him, looks like one of the SRTE cars, I think that was Seb Gauthier, lost it into turn 1.
Yeah, Seb having a little back end loose problems. And Nathan Doogie, unfortunately, his pit stop time was great, same as everybody else pretty much, but it just took him too long from the time of entering the pits to exiting the pit. So a little slow entry, a little slow down the pit lane, maybe braking a little early. It cost him, as we watched Seb Gauthier just have that typical little Porsche spin there.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a number of times with the Porsches here this evening. So it's a fast car, but it takes a very specific driving style to not have that happen. But definitely Mugello with its fast sweeping corners, easy to lose the back end of the Porsche. But right now, Zach Mosley trying to chase down Patrick Farrell to renew that battle they had. They came out fairly close to their pit stop exit, Rich, but since then, Farrell's been able to open up a bit of a gap over Mosley. Tyler Graff still 1.2 seconds up ahead of them, but Jason Park, the belle of the ball here this evening so far. You got first place into turn 1, was able to leapfrog Doogie at the race start, and he hasn't looked back since then, running quick lap after quick lap, 7.5 seconds now over P2.
Yeah, Jason Park just running away with this one so far, and Zach Mosley, because of the issues in the pits for Nathan Doogie, Zach Mosley is now our AM leader, Rob. First time tonight and first time all season we've seen a Corvette up at the front.
Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for Corvettes, Rich, so I'm not sad at seeing a Corvette up top of any standings, but AM or Pro will take it either way. But he's feeling a ton of pressure right now from Jared Keane. Keane looking real strong after the pit stops, real quick. He's been able to close down that gap on Mosley. And don't forget to our viewers that regardless of which class they're in, AM or Pro, points are doled out for where your overall finishing position is. So Zach Mosley right now is a couple spots up on his closest competitor in the AM class, which is Nathan Doogie in 6th overall. So Mosley would get the 5th place points. Mosley would get 4th place points. Doogie would get 6th place points. So it's at advantage for Mosley to try and keep Jared Keane in between he and Doogie, regardless of them being in different classes.
Yeah, it's you're battling for every position you get here. Jared Keane just a little bit off the back here of Zach Mosley. Zach is trying to close the gap himself on Patrick Farrell ahead. So, everybody's not too far apart right now. It's just a matter of turning in some clean laps, trying to close those gaps up so you get an opportunity to make a move. As we look back at Herbert Pineda. Herbert coming up on the back of Alex Wright. Herbert having a disastrous start to his race and trying to close those positions, make them up, and it looks like he may have the inside line here going into the next corner.
Yeah,
see if he can make this move here.
This hasn't been a race that Herbert Pineda is really going to be writing any love stories home about by any means, but he went from trying to be on the offensive to Alex Wright to now having to be on the defensive to Luke Davison behind him. So Herbert Pineda kind of sandwiched in between a couple lunatic racing cars of Alex Wright and Luke Davis. So sure, there might be a little bit of a strat here to try and work together to make the move around Herbert Pineda, but again, as we mentioned, not the race Pineda was probably envisioning for himself at the start.
take a look at Ross Sortino here. Ross, our week 1 winner, sitting 7th in class. Ross right now, we're going to go look on Dale Peterson on board. Dale Peterson following Ross. Dale sitting in 15th, Ross in 14th place. Nice and close racing. Dale wanting that position badly, and the just not being able to get the gap closed down enough to try and make a move here at this stage.
Yeah, Ferrari versus Acura, and we saw that the Ferrari's really struggling out here tonight. Our highest place Ferrari right now is of Kevin Berquist in 11th overall. So we haven't seen a real potential. It's surprising. Ferrari owning this track, you would think that they would be fairly potent here, but hasn't worked out so well that way for the Ferraris tonight here. Let's take a look back at the front. These drivers have fairly settled down as far as their battles. It's like Waldo Walden, David Morse, and Seb Gauthier battling back here. We saw Gauthier spin coming out of his first lap after his pit cycle into turn 1. So he's trying to recover right now, but Waldo Walden in between a couple of the SRTE cars. Let's see if Gauthier and Morse are on comm somewhere trying to work some magic to get the two of them around Waldo Walden as we head to 3.5 minutes to go in this one.
Yeah, David Morse having a good race. He's up 2 positions, sitting in 8th overall. Great drive so far for that AM driver. Meanwhile, there's still nose to tail, the 2 SRT cars. Waldo Walden, just that sandwich in the middle. It's the Waldo sandwich, I guess. And Waldo just not being able to get anything done there.
Where's
Waldo?
Waldo? Where's Waldo? He's the meat in the sandwich, Rich.
That's what he is. Meanwhile, Andrew Venaro seeing 13th overall, all over the back of Josh Sheps. Andrew coming around through this nice, tight, twisty section here. A little short straightaway coming down before we enter into left-hand turn 4, a little S into turn 5. And the driver just continuing on nose to tail, not close enough to make any moves, but just trying to make sure he's got position so when we get down to the long straightaway, he's got a chance.
Yeah, those 2 McLarens of Sheps and Venaro, they've got Berquist not too far ahead of them. Kevin Berquist probably not a big fan of seeing those 2 McLarens starting to chase up behind him in the Ferrari. These are our highest place Ferrari, as I mentioned earlier on, up 5 spots into 11th. Actually, let's take a moment and look and see who is up the most position. Looks like Andrew Venaro in 13th place has been our biggest mover at this point, up 7 spots in 13th place. So strong running for him, and actually not too far back. Looks like we got Ross Sortino and Dale Peterson still battling. Look like Peterson showing the front end on the inside, like he might make a dive. A little too far back though to make a move. Sortino knew that, didn't really have to adjust his line all that much. But it looks like Sortino might have a little bit of damage on the front end of that car. Looks like the Ferrari buckled a little bit in at the front.
Yeah, it doesn't look factory spec there to me, Rob. Well, we're going to take a look back. Zach Mosley still doing a great job here, holding off Jared Keane. But his efforts to move up on 3rd place have kind of stalled out on him, and Keane is all over the back of him. Keane tucking a nose on the inside, tucking a nose on the outside. Keane making sure Zach Mosley is well aware that he's there. A little dust blocking the view. Mosley going to cover him off.
Oh, we were just talking about where was Waldo earlier. Looks like Waldo has crashed. Let's see what happened here. Looks like heading into turn 1. That was Gauthier behind him, kind of faking a move. But Waldo Walden going to suffer the same fate that Seb Gauthier did laps earlier. Another Porsche. I hate to sound like a broken record here, Rich, but it's been Porsche after Porsche after Porsche suffering the same type of spin into turn 1.
Yeah, I think that's about the 4th one we've seen tonight. The only exception would have been the one Acura, and it looks like it's just been a handful for these guys tonight. Meanwhile, Jared Keane still putting pressure all over the back of Zach Mosley. Jared making sure Zach's well aware he's there, really wants to move up, get that 4th position off of him, and Zach doing everything he can. Great defensive driving, make sure he can't.
Yeah, it looks like just up ahead of them, Tyler Graff has been caught by Patrick Farrell. So when it looked like Graff was going to be able to walk away from Farrell, open up that gap, Farrell's put in some hot laps. He's closed that gap back down on Tyler Graff. So this should be the beginning of the final lap Here's they're heading across the line. Let's check and see if Barney's waving the white flag as we go, and he is. So final lap incoming here. Patrick Farrell tucked deep into the draft. He's going to try and make the move around the outside, which if he can stick side by side, it would have gave him the inside line of the following corner, but Graf able to close that off. Farrell drops back. He might not have much of a chance to get another move in here. As we mentioned early on, not a whole lot of overtaking opportunities here at Mugello. So as I say that, Graf's going to dip a couple tires into the kitty litter, throw some dirt up just behind. Keen fakes a move to the inside of Mosley. Mosley didn't bite. He's not falling for it. He's holding strong right now, but it's two battles for the final spot on the podium. Potentially Farrell holding down third spot, but anything could happen between this battle between he and Graf, where he would immediately fall back into the clutches of Mosley and Keen. But Graf with a quicker section there, able to open up 7/10 over Farrell. Farrell starting to fall back into the clutches of Zach Mosley as he's battling Jared Keen, continuing on here on this final lap.
Yeah, Zach Mosley's done a great job of holding off the huge pressure that Jared Keen's been applying over the last several laps. And actually, Zach is actually closing that gap to Patrick Farrell at this stage, and I don't think he's got enough to get there, but it looks like these guys are, as long as there's no mistakes made, they're going to remain where they are, Rob.
Yeah, as we see our leader, Jason Park, heading into the final corner for the final time here. Barring any major catastrophe, he's going to take round 4 of the Throttle Freaks Fixed GT3 League. See him weaving there, a little razzle-dazzle across the line. Congrats to him. And then we see the battle here. Farrell closed that gap down a little bit on Graf, but unfortunately unable to make a move. Tyler Graf's going to bring it home P2. Farrell's going to have to settle for third. Mosley in fourth. To Keen, Doogie, Thurman across the line. Then we drop back to a couple more SRTE cars. Kevin Berquist, that battle he had with the two McLarens, he's going to hold off. So we got a run to the line here between Sortino and Peterson. Peterson trying to make the move on Sortino. Looks like he's going to get around Sortino in the final corner. Unfortunate for him. Looks like Andrew Trickett had to pull into the pits. I'm not sure why. You can't serve a black flag on the last lap, so that was kind of pointless for him. But we'll have to see if we can find out what happened there. But Neil Alexander, a little further back, we got Alex Wright. Looks at the front end of that car. Not all that happy. Drew DeWeese, Luke Davis.
Looks like somebody ran out of gas there, Rob.
Waldo Walden, final corner, spitting and sputtering. Let's go.
Oh yeah, his time in the pits was a second and a half quicker than the bulk of the field. And
So he's going to get a boost from Ian Cabana.
Well, there's some sportsmanship there. Ian feeling a little pity there for Waldo and making sure he gets to finish this race, but not ahead of him. There we go. Come on, Ian.
That's right.
Nice guys don't finish last.
Yeah. Everybody must finish last, but not ahead of me. So there we go. Waldo has crossed the line. So that should do it as far as our cars, Rich. I don't believe we have anybody else on the lead lap. So we'll take a quick look at our results here once timing and scoring clicks over. And it just did. So there we go. Jason Park is going to bring it home on top spot. Tyler Graf in second. Patrick Farrell rounds out the podium. Zach Mosley, our top AM driver, in fourth. Jared Keen in fifth. Nathan Doogie in sixth. Brett Thurman seventh. David Morse in eighth. Seb Gauthier in ninth. Kevin Berquist rounds out the top 10. Andrew Venaro in 11th. Josh Sheps in 12th. Dale Peterson 13th. Ross Sortino in 14th. Christopher Rhines 15th. Jacob Fichtner in 16th. Herbert Pineda 17th. Neil Alexander, Robert Jeffries, Alex Wright round out the top 10. And then we got a bit of a used car parking lot here. Drew DeWeese in 21st. Luke Davis 22nd. Andrew Trickett 23rd. Ian Cabana 24th. Walden with the support across the line. Colin McKenzie, Dave Jensen a lap down. Chris Halstead 2 laps. Jay Steffi. So he came back out on track after that early incident. Joseph Carnes did not make the checkered flag. Okay, Rich. That was first race of the night where we had our Fix GT3 drivers. It looks like we've got a couple drivers in the broadcast waiting area here. We've got, looks like Patrick Farrell, Tyler Graf, Zach Mosley. Let's have a chat See, Rich caught up with Zach Mosley, our AM leader.
Hey, Zach, congratulations. Fourth overall tonight, it looks like, and amateur class winner. How do things
Thanks,
go
guys. I
for you
appreciate it.
tonight?
It was a little hairy. It was fun, but it was hairy.
Sorry, it was nice. Rob and I are both big fans of the Corvette, and you rocking that Corvette really made our day. Great paint job, and we were thrilled to see you up there. Um, so what happened here tonight? It's nice to see you up so far up in the front. Did a lot of practicing, or how'd you get these results tonight?
A lot of luck, to be honest. I ran maybe 30, 40 laps yesterday. Wasn't super happy with the car. Couldn't run any faster than a 47.7. Jumped into the server tonight. It didn't look good. I was like 28th. We qualified, and all of a sudden, qualifying, I was in the top 5. So it was kind of a cool. Let's go. What happens happens. This could be really, really good. This could be really bad. But at the end of the day, we got to race, and that's what matters.
So yeah, it looks like your Jerry Keene was doing everything he could to get by you in the last half dozen laps or so, and you did a great job defensive driving and holding him off. So well done and kudos to you. Anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
Big shout out to all the guys over at SCR, all of our sponsors: Jordan, Oakley, Monster, Grid, Abruzzi. I'm sure I'm missing some. This is the first time I've had to do it, so it's a little nerve wracking. Big shout out to my wife. She's amazing for allowing me to do as much sim racing as I do. So thank you, babe. Love you. And to the league for putting on a great league. It's awesome.
So, well, yeah, you got to make sure you shout out to the wife. Congratulations once again, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, that was Zach Mosley, our AM winner. Let's have a chat with Jason Park, our pro winner, as well as the overall winner. Jason, you're able to jump around Doogie into turn one, and then you didn't really look back at all. How did your race look from your cockpit? Oh, Jason, do you have us? Jason, can you hear us? Okay, doesn't look like we have comms from Jason. Let's pull our P2, Tyler Graff, into the booth here. Tyler, we saw you battling with Patrick Farrell all throughout this one. It looks like you guys were kind of going back and forth a little bit. You're able to open up a bit of a gap on him, then you kind of clawed back towards the end of the race. Were you kind of saving fuel at the end, or was it just a little bit of a pace thing between the Porsche and the McLaren?
I think he just had me on the straightaways, to be completely honest. I could get a couple laps where he wouldn't pull in like a tenth or two. But like even when he was 2 seconds behind me, he would pull in a tenth or two just by himself. So I kind of knew inevitably he'd get to me again. So I just kind of had to keep focusing on the parts of the track where I was better, and it kind of just happened to be the parts of the track I was focusing on to try to counter the Acura. So yeah, I don't know. I did not think we would be sitting in second place or third place. The Porsches were on the struggle bus, and yeah, I just managed to make something work for qualifying, and I think the clean air definitely helped.
Yeah, we had focused on a number of Porsches that had self spins into the real fast sweeping corners, like a pendulum effect with rear motor car over top of the rear axle. That tends to happen on high speed tracks like this. But looks like you had a handle on it here tonight. You're able to work yourself up into P10. Next week we head to Road America, generally a fan favorite. But there are a few that aren't fans of Road America. Where do you stand on that side of the argument?
I've been very so-so with Road America. I hated it when I was running IndyCar, but I loved it in the Lotus. So, in the GT3 car, it seems pretty fun. So, it's more so that track is just draft lock in certain spots. It's really annoying. It's really tough to break it. And tires too. You can lose the rear so easy there. So, we're looking forward to it though. I got a lot of laps there. So.
Well, excellent. We wish the best for you next week. Anybody want to shout out before we let you go, Tyler?
Yeah, thanks to the guys over at MadWorks and Lunatic guys for letting me hang out with them during practice. And Hot Milk Corporation Pop is out June 27th. I got the date right this week.
Excellent job, Tyler. Hopefully we see you battling up at the front again next week. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Rich, we got time to talk to
What
our
was it?
pole sitter, Nathan Doogie. We'll see what he has to say with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Nathan. Congratulations on the great race tonight, and congratulations on pole. Well done. How'd the race go for you tonight?
It was pretty good. I wasn't expecting to get pole. SRT, we've been practicing all week. I came out, I was surprised. I messaged everybody. I was like, "Oh my God, what do I do?" I'm starting to ask the team, "How do I start the race?" What really did me in was in my pit stop, I ran out of fuel like maybe 5 grid boxes back, so I sputtered to a stop in my box. And I stopped like 4 inches short, so I was mashing the pedal trying to get the car to start back up again. And by the time I came out, I was in fifth. But it was a learning
We,
experience.
we were wondering what happened because we saw your. I mean, your time in the box was about the same as everybody else, but your time on pit road itself was a lot longer. So that explains everything. Rather unfortunate because you had a great race. I mean, you lost the lead. It looked like in turn one, but from then on, y- you had lots. Third was nowhere near you, and it's rather unfortunate. But congratulations once again on the result. And it was nice seeing all the SRT cars performing so well. We watched at one point, I think Rob and I saw 4 or 5 of them, nose to tail, all in a row, all in the top 10. So you guys definitely put in your work this week.
Really proud of the result tonight. I think it was 7 cars in like the top 15, so we're super happy about it.
Well, awesome. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Of course, my wife, who's next door. I think my dad is watching in Texas, so big shout out to my dad. Um, and then honestly, SRT, like I would not, they picked me up right after week one thinking I was good, and I told them like, oh, this might be a mistake, but they have molded me in ways I cannot even describe. I am so happy to be with these guys, man.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the pull once again. And I look forward to seeing you at Road America next week. How's that track for you?
Unfortunately, I'm gonna be changing jobs here soon, so I'm gonna miss Road America, but I've never driven it, so I wouldn't be really competitive there anyways.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks and have yourself a great night and celebrate your pole position.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, that was Nathan Doogie, our pole sitter, and P2 and AM. Then we'll quickly bring Jason Park into the booth here. Jason, our overall winner. What were you seeing out of your cockpit there, Jason? Pretty much a little bit of a Tuesday night drive for you.
Yeah, I think I got lucky there making that pass in corner one, and I was able to kind of pull out a lead there and stay ahead. So my night was quite comfortable actually.
Did you think that if you were able to get around Doogie into turn one, you'd be able to open up a gap and kind of walk away, or is it just kind of just a happenstance that it worked out that way for you, or was it, like I said, a plan that you had?
No, to be honest, I think in practice I was like fourth or fifth. So and I was probably about half a second off if I remember correctly. So I wasn't expecting to pull away like that. I think maybe the guys behind me were battling a little bit. So it gave me some breathing room.
Well, excellent job. Nice recovery. You were strong in week one, had an unfortunate incident. So we expected to kind of see you battling up towards the front of the pack again. So excellent job. We head to Road America next
Yeah.
week. Feeling confident heading in there, or is it something you need to work on?
I actually I know that track quite well, so I feel pretty comfortable going in, but there's a lot of quick guys, so we'll see how it goes next week.
Excellent. Best of luck to you,
All
Jason.
right,
Anybody quick you want to shout out before we let you go?
just the boys at Riot Racing, Jay Steffi and Dale Pedersen. They've been great, helping me get up to speed here, and also obviously the wife.
Excellent. Well, best of luck to you
All right,
next week, Jason. We'll see you then.
thanks, guys.
Okay, Rich, that was all of our drivers we have time for in the fix series. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back for the sprint series here in moments.
That would look really bad.
Okay, we are back. Race number 2, our sprint series. Same track, same type of cars. This time, open setup. Our drivers are allowed to manipulate the setups however they see fit. We've got 21 drivers on track for this one. Again, mix of AM and pro drivers. Right now, it looks like we got Kevin Simpson, pro driver, up top of qualifying. His qualifying time is just about done here. The clock ticking over to 15 minutes here, Rich. So whatever lap our drivers are on, if they just crossed the line before the clock ticked over, they're able to finish it. But right now, it looks like Kevin Simpson, Jim Feliz going to lead the way in P1 and 2. Looks like Blake Seedy holding on to 3rd spot. He's our top placed AM driver out here right now. It's a strong showing for Blake Seedy, also formerly or famously known as Baked Seedy in some circles. So a good run for
I thought that
Blake.
was just our circle, Rob. But
I thought that was
yeah, Blake's doing a
strong
Blake's
showing
doing
for
a great
Blake.
job here this season so far, and nice to see him doing so well in the SRTE orange car.
Yeah, we've got 4 Acuras up top of the standings right now. Emmett Lindquist with the McLaren in P5 currently, and Joey Costello again in 6th spot in an Acura. So it looks like the Acura is going to be strong here again in the open setup. We've don't have any Corvettes in this one, Rich. We've got 1 Mercedes, 1 McLaren, 1 Ferrari. See Fernando Jaquez in the Ferrari. I'm not seeing Nene Tavares though. His teammate in the other Ferrari. We saw the Ferrari struggle in race 1 in the fixed series. So I wonder if they've realized the Ferrari isn't going to be strong here again tonight, as Jaquez right now only able to put up a 14th place time as it stands right now. So the Ferraris the last couple of weeks not happy. It'll be interesting to see if they are able to bounce back next week at Road America.
Yeah, it's interesting the way things have gone. I mean, the Ferraris look dominant in weeks 1 and 2, but weeks 3 and 4, they just don't seem to have anything. As we take a look at Sean Carmody, our last driver, it looks like out on track.
Yeah, well, Carmody finishes up his lap. Let's take a quick look at the championship standings here while we wait for timing and scoring to finish up. And pro, we've got Fernando Jaquez leading the way, 128 points over David Mendoza. In 2nd place, 10 points separating those two. Nene Tavares in 3rd, 107 points. But as I mentioned, I'm not seeing Nene Tavares in timing and scoring here. So some points, position opportunity for Emmett Lindquist in 4th, Josh Spears in 5th, Kevin Simpson in 6th, Juan Malagon in 7th. Oh, there we go. Oliver Rodriguez in 8th, Jim Feliz in 9th. Gonzalo Cortez rounds out the top 10, and we haven't seen Aiden Young at all. So I'm not sure if he's going to show up at all or not. He's signed up. Doesn't seem to want to race by the looks of it. Well, it looks like timing and scoring being a little finicky, but there we go. Rich, you want to take us through the AM standings?
Yeah, we got Corey Sircone leading the way in amateur, followed closely by Matt Stadnick. Joey Costello rounds off the top 3. William Fenson sitting 4th, followed by Devin Brock. In 6th place, we've got Luis Grullon, followed by Adam Ostrich in 7th. Nestor Santana is in 8th, followed by Pete Majaya in 9th. And rounding out our top 10, Ivan Bisano. And then we'll watch the rest here. We've got Sean Carmody, Evan McKay, Blake Seedy, Douglas Curry, Tony Costello, Aaron Lewis, Fernando Torres, Artie Mercedes, and then Bryce Bomback. He's dug his way out of the negatives. He's up positive now.
He has he's got himself up there, Rich, but what's going on with our timing and scoring here? It's being finicky to no end. So there we go. We'll get rid of that. And let's take a quick look here at the Teams Championship while our drivers are getting their setup switched over and heading to the track. We got CRT Chabao leading the way, 95 points over SRTE Green, although that gap's closed up quite a bit the last few weeks. Actually, that's not the correct team standings either. For some reason, our team standings doesn't want to bring in the correct standings this week. I can tell you that the points are a lot higher and a lot closer. So that fixed up for next week for some reason. The points being finicky on the team side, but either way, I can let you know it is a tight battle at the top of the team standings. And what was once a big gap for CRT Chabao, it is no longer such a big gap, and the gap is being closed in by the Solpec team.
Yeah, it's definitely a tighter field with the Ferraris not doing so well. This might be the chance for them to, if they're not already in first place, overtake in first place. But as we watch, we've got the short pace lap once again here tonight at Mugello, and we'll take a look at Jim Feliz sitting in second on the outside of Kevin Simpson.
Yeah, Feliz and Simpson going to lead the way. And then actually look at all those Acuras we got there. Acura, McLaren, Acura. We saw what happened to the Porsches in the race earlier on. We only have 3 Porsche: Adam Ostrich, Matt Stadnick, and Josh Spears in the Porsches. We got a ton of Acuras. I'm not sure if anybody actually switched cars this week or not. I didn't take a look at the forums, but it seems like we have a whole lot more Acuras this week than what we've had in the past in the Open Series. But Simpson and Flea's going to lead the pack around. We got just a short little straight here, then they'll head into the final left-hander. Pace car will duck into the pits, and then we'll be underway for 40 minutes of Throttle Freaks action.
And final turn 15, entering the straight. Kevin Simpson is going to take control once the pace car gets off the track, and he will have control of the field.
Yeah, there we go. Slow little pace run down the front straight. Field bunching up. Barney is ready to go with his green flag. We are underway. They are running before we get to the green, and they're off. Into turn
Kevin
1.
Simpson, great jump there. Going into turn 1, he's got a huge lead, or not a huge lead, but he's definitely covered up Jim Feliz, and Blake Ziti moved up to third quickly. The SRT cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 of them in a row, all following behind the leader, Kevin Simpson.
Yeah, we've got a SRTE various team battle here as well with the Solpec cars of Simpson and Lindquist. So interesting to see here how this works out as far as the team battles go. But a bunch of SRTE cars sandwiched in between a couple Solpec cars. But either way, we're underway for 40 minutes here at Mugello in the Open Setup Series.
Yeah, it's a great start. Kevin Simpson getting a great jump, and Jim Feliz holding on to second, but Blake Ziti making the move there. Looks like he's still in third place. No big position changes looks so far in this race. Top 21 cars all remaining clean so far, 3/4 of the way through the first lap.
Yeah, everyone's kind of gone single file quickly in this one all the way back. Not seeing much of anything as far as overtakes. We got our CRT Chabao team members here, Santana, Rodriguez, Santos, Jaquez, all kind of intermingled here and together. It's like they're all kind of trying to work together, but for the most part, they're not really have much space to maneuver out there. They really can't go side by side. Otherwise, they're going to lose the draft of the car ahead and fall into the clutches of some other cars in behind us. Corey Sircone, our current AM leader, a little further back in the pack than he probably wanted to start this one off, but right now trying to make a move around Nestor Santana in the McLaren. Looks like Sircone going to have to stay tucked in behind. He's going to have Artie Mercedes in that other CRT Chabao car in behind. So Sircone in a little bit of a CRT sandwich out here right now.
Yeah, Sircone battling a little tough, but the guys from Dominican are not letting him get away with anything. As we move up towards the front, we're following Blake Ziti sitting third right now. Blake leading a train, followed by with Evan McKay and Joey Costello behind him. The first 2 cars of Kevin Simpson and Jim Feliz have pulled out a slight gap right now. Meanwhile, it looks like we may have lost Sean Carmody on lap 1.
Yeah, it looks like Carmody had a bit of a off-track excursion. Then he made his way to the pits to see here what happened to Carmody. Oh, just loses the back end of that Acura and hard into the wall. No spare car in this series, so unfortunately he won't be able to duck back to the pits and pick up another car. He's going to have to just sit through the repairs or call it a night. But up front, Simpson and Fleas starting to open up gap over third place Blake Zedi, as Zedi's having to fend off Evan McKay in behind for a third spot. But as they do that, it's going to allow Simpson and Fleas to open up that gap. Lindquist sitting in sixth place, down one spot from where he qualified. Joey Costello was able to leapfrog him and move up one spot. So again, a whole bunch of team members here from SRTE and a sandwich in between the Solpec cars. These are also pertinent points in the team championship, so nobody's really want to give up any spots here, Rich. They're going to want to hold tight the best they can.
Yeah, it's unlike the fixed. Little move there. It looks like Joey Costello, but no, just tucks back in. Unlike the fixed race we watched earlier, this is a 40-minute race, so 5 more minutes of action. Still a mandatory pit stop. It's way too early to start making aggressive lunges. You don't want to ruin your race and end your race this early into it.
No, definitely not. Still plenty of time to go. You don't want to make a move that may cost you not only time on the track, but a chance at top finishing position here. As we see Blake Zedi open up a bit of a gap over teammate McKay, but McKay on the SRTE green team, where Zedi on the orange team. I suspect there's probably fairly recognizable team orders not to battle in between inner teams, but they're definitely not going to just give each other a position if they have more pace. Simpson comfortable
no papaya
out front.
rules tonight, is there?
What's that?
No papaya rules with SRTE. Is that what you're saying, Rob?
I don't know. I think it's full papaya rules. Race, but don't take each other out. It should. That's the way it should be for every team. Papaya rules, top to bottom. Race them as hard as you can, but don't take each other out.
Meanwhile, we're going to go back and follow Juan Malagon in the CRT Chabao team, rocking the Mercedes, the only Mercedes running here at Mugello tonight and all season long thus far. Juan's done a great job of getting that car where he is. Juan right now, although he's sitting only 10th overall, I believe he's the top CRT Chabao racing team member.
Yeah, he's putting a ton of pressure on the back of Adam Ostrich in that Porsche. See if Malagon's able to make the move around the outside. He's going to have the preferred line into the next corner. So he's going to make that move stick. That should move him up into 9th overall, up 2 spots from where he qualified. That's going to move Ostrich down 3 spots from where he qualified. So not the way Ostrich wanted it to shape out here early on, but now Malagon has teammate Luis Grullon up ahead in the McLaren. So see if the two of them can link up and try and start making their way through the field. They've got Matt Stadnik up ahead. Stadnik starting to close in on that train of cars from 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, just up ahead, trying to make it a 5-car battle in P7.
Yeah, Matt Stadnik, I believe he was our race winner last week, sitting there in 7th right now and looking to move forward, sitting 1 place ahead of where he qualified and starting to follow the train. The tail of that train, the caboose there, is Emmett Lindquist. He's looking to try and close that gap.
Look back from Lindquist, you can see that Stadnik has officially joined this battle. He is right in there now, definitely in the draft of Lindquist. So any kind of upset of any car up ahead, Stadnik there ready to pounce. Blake Zedi still leading this train of cars around. They've kind of stabilized here behind Jim Feliz. Feliz fallen off the back of Simpson up ahead. Simpson starting to find a little extra pace over Feliz. He's got that gap up to 2nd now. More or less has Feliz out of the draft. If he can take another 10th or so out of that gap between he and Feliz, he could officially have him out of draft. But right now it looks like Feliz starting to fall back into the clutches of that battle from 3rd place all the way down to 7th, which could shortly be 2nd place all the way down to 7th.
Yeah, there's a big gaggle of cars sitting behind Jim, so he's got to get a move on or else that pack is going to close up, and then there's going to be some battling, although 3rd, 4th, are both SRT cars. We're going to take a look back a little further back with Devin Brock with a beautiful looking Castrol. We've commented on that car before, Rob, and always nice to see him. Devin sitting there 11th overall right now on the back of Adam Ostrich.
Yeah, nice run for Devin. Unfortunately, down 2 spots where he qualified, but I've said it before, as you mentioned, probably one of my favorite paint schemes, that Castrol throwback theme on an NSX. But they're battling away, Brock and Ostrich, but kind of lurking in the background, we can see our championship contender in the pro side, Fernando Jaquez, sneaking up behind them along with teammate Oliver Rodriguez Santos. So Jaquez not the greatest qualifying here tonight that he would have put on, but he's moved up 2 spots into 12th overall, showing some pace. 147.3, his quickest lap, to Brock's 147.9 and Ostrich's 148.2. So he's definitely got the pace to move around those 2 cars. Just a matter of catching them and trying to find somewhere to do it, Rich, as we've profiled here. Not a whole lot of great overtaking opportunities at Mugello. You really have to work for it, try and force a mistake. The draft didn't really seem all that strong in the fixed series on the front straight. With the open series where they can run a little less wing, a little more trimmed out, it'd be interesting to see if the Ferraris fare a little better here in the draft. But right now he's towing around his teammate Rodriguez Santos in the Acura.
Yeah, they are moving up a little bit, but they are well over a second off the pace of the leaders, and Ferrari just doesn't seem to have the pace tonight that Fernando Jaquez was hoping for. Meanwhile, we got Fernando Jaquez still following around. He's sitting in 12th with his teammate Oliver Rodriguez Santos behind him in 13th. Both drivers having some great results earlier in the season, but I think they're looking forward to getting off this track and maybe seeing how they do at Road America.
Yeah, one of their teammates a little farther back here, Nestor Santana, had a bit of an issue not long ago. Let's see what happened to him. Santana in the McLaren. So he's going to come a little hot into the corner. We've seen the number of Porsches do that. Loses the back end. Thankfully for him, nobody tags him as he's sliding out there. So more or less just some time lost. But back up to our leader, Kevin Simpson, now 8/10 up on Jim Feliz. Feliz starting to close back in on Simpson. We saw him kind of fall back, almost verging on falling out of draft behind Simpson. But Feliz starting to fight back, closing that gap. Who has fallen back, though, is Blake Ziti. We saw this pack of cars closing in on Feliz. It looked like they might be reeling him into that pack, but since then, Feliz has found another gear here. Kicked it up with a 46.5. Looks like the quickest lap of the race last time by for Jim Feliz.
Jim Feliz has definitely got that car working well now, trying to close that gap and definitely making some moves. Meanwhile, Blake Ziti trying to do his job, holding off Evan McKay. He's got Evan McKay, Emmett Lindquist are right behind him. This is closest we've seen all 3 of these guys all night long so far. We're on lap 7, 11 minutes into this 40-minute race, and battle's getting closer here for the final podium position.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Blake Ziti really holding off McKay right now, but there's only a matter of time here before it looks like Ziti might fall into the clutches of McKay. We see him drift a little wide there on exit. Looks like McKay going to look to the inside. He's going to make that move. I almost think Ziti might have just gave it to him, realizing that he lost a couple tenths with that slide moments ago. But now Lindquist, sensing a little bit of blood in the water, he's going to try and force a mistake from Ziti to try and get around him too as well.
Yeah, that was getting a little close there. I thought Blake went out wide, and there goes Emmett Lindquist is, all over. I thought he was going to make a move on the inside, but Blake managing to chop the nose down and keep Emmett behind him.
Yeah, this
Still got a
battle still
4-car
rages
train
on.
here, looks like. And, these guys are nice and close, but it's like we said all night, Rob, tough to pass here unless the guy makes a mistake or he's a teammate who realizes his pace is a little slow and lets you by. There's not much you can do. We're going to take a look back here. Adam Ostrich, followed by Devin Brock, and Devin's close, but the draft is not enough to get him close enough where he can make a move and exiting the end of this pit straight here.
And we see Joey Costello now putting a bunch of pressure on Blake. Oh no,
Oh,
ZD.
no.
ZD's going to lose the back end of that car. I think he might have got tagged a little bit by teammate Costello as he was waking his way through there. He gets it gathered up, but he's falling back through the field here now. Back to 16th, possibly going to lose 17th. Pete Mejia coming through. Douglas Corey's going to make his way through too as well. That's going to cycle Blake ZD all the way back to 18th. So what looked like a promising finish here tonight for Blake ZD has turned upside down very quickly.
Yeah, unfortunate for Blake ZD. Meanwhile, we're going to follow along with Matt Stadnick, last week's race winner, 5th overall right now. Matt leading Joey Costello. And then a second behind them, we've got Luis Grion, the two SRT teammates following each other here. One in a Porsche, one, I believe it looks like, in the Acura. The SRT teammates seem to like their variety of cars, so they must have a big budget for that team, Rob.
Yeah, a lot of spare parts to carry around, Rich. A lot of spare parts to carry around. But it's our closest battle on the track as we see Devin Brock make a huge dive underneath Adam Ostrich. It's like Ostrich almost pulled out, bailed, and just gave him that spot. But Devin Brock isn't going to look a gift horse in the mouth. He'll take that, move himself up one spot from where he qualified into 8th place. So next up is Juan Malagon, 2 seconds up the track. He and teammate Luis Grullon kind of working together. Malagon was able to chase down Grullon up ahead, so we'll see if the two of them can work together, try and catch that pack up ahead of Lindquist, Stadnick, and Costello. So what was once about a 4-car pack, 5-car pack, Rich, is down to about 3 cars now with Lindquist, Stadnick, and Costello.
Yeah, it's cars separating out a little bit now with that unfortunate incident with Blake ZD. It's just, you know, got a couple here, we've got a couple there. None of the big 5 and 6 car trains that we've been used to seeing over the last few weeks. Mugello's seemed to have taken a number on kind of the pace of some of these cars, and you know, especially with the Porsches being a little back end happy here. And we've seen actually a couple of the Acuras also going off as we watch a little bit of dust being thrown in the face there of Joey Costello by his teammate Matt Stadnick.
Yeah, let's take another quick look here at what happened to Blake ZD. Just lost the back end, and I think that was Costello. They're just going to straighten him back out there. So unfortunately for ZD, able to continue on, but definitely not the race that he was looking to have. But Stadnick and Costello working together, trying to chase down Lindquist. Lindquist was able to get around them and kind of leg out a little bit here. We saw him kind of lingering around the back of that pack, able to take advantage of the mistake by ZD to leapfrog that pack and work his way up through. And so now we got Solpec drivers in P1 and P3 with the SRTE machine of Jim Flees in second place. Simpson able to open that gap back up again over Flees now, up to 2 seconds. So Kevin Simpson found a little extra speed out here this evening, starting to leg away from Flees. Flees now keep an eye on his rearview mirror to see if Lindquist, Simpson's teammate, starts to close that gap. Right now, it looks like it's holding very steady for the most part. Closest battle on track again is still Ostrich and Brock. We saw Ostrich have to bail out in the corner and allowed Brock through, but he's fighting back now, trying to get that position back from Devin Brock.
Yeah, Adam went wide on that one corner, may have missed his braking marker, and Devin took full advantage of that. A little update on Blake ZD. Blake ZD has been in the pits for a couple of minutes now, and it looks like he's getting some repairs done, or trying to get some repairs done. I don't know if we'll see him back on track tonight, Rob, unfortunately.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out what kind of repairs he needs. I don't know if he maybe got a meatball flag from when Costello tapped him on the right front corner. Maybe he just caught him on the suspension and got a meatball flag out of that. But I thought it was going to be fairly minor damage where he could have got back out on track. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's worked out that way. But so we take a look back here. Corey Sircone, he's got Josh Spears and Oliver Rodriguez Santos up ahead. So Sircone up 2 spots from where he qualified into 13th place. Spears holding strong where he qualified in 12th. So we'll see if the two of them could chase down Rodriguez Santos up ahead. But they've got Artie Mercedes not too far back of them in the Acura car. I keep wanting to see Mercedes in a Mercedes, but it's not going to happen this evening.
No, unfortunately not. Corey Sircone having himself a tough night by his standards, leading the overall AM championship. And it looks like if this race continues the way it is, he will no longer be the leader after this week. But we're going to take a look at Josh Spears. Josh Spears sitting in 12th right now. Josh Spears, Corey Sircone getting close up to the back of him. Just trying to keep it up, tucked up tight, waiting for a mistake, maybe an opportunity. Nothing happening here, but you've got to be there for when the opportunity presents itself.
No doubt. That's a battle for position on track. That is 12th overall. Spears currently holding down that spot, and Sircone would love to take it away, but Artie Mercedes kind of looming in the background. If something were to happen between those two, ready to pounce, but not close enough to try and force anything onto Corey Sircone, but close enough to fill the mirrors of Sircone and leave him a little worried that you can't totally focus at the windshield on Josh Spears up ahead. But Spears, for the most part, a little bit of clear track up ahead, 1.2 seconds up to Rodriguez Santos. It looks like Santos may have dropped a tire into the dirt up ahead. That's going to cost him a couple tenths. He might fall back into that battle momentarily if they can close that gap. Santos going to need a few corners, cool the tires back down, get that dirt and debris off of his left rear, and clean back up. As you can see, Spears and Sircone now closing that gap quickly on Rodriguez Santos.
Yeah, Rodriguez Santos losing a little bit of time there, but still our hard charger thus far. He's up 5 positions on the night. His teammate just ahead of him, Fernando Haca, is up 4 positions. So actually all of the CRT wild cars are up at least 4 positions, it looks like, along with Luis Grion, Juan Malagon as well.
Yeah, definitely. We pick back up here. A couple teammates, Stadnik and Costello, working together to try and get through the field. Currently in 4th place. They haven't been able to close the gap down on Lindquist at all. Actually, in fact, Lindquist's been able to open up that gap by another half a second over Stadnik. Unable to get any closer to Jim Fleece. So top 3 kind of stagnant here. Not really much moving. Simpson still out front. He's got 2.3 seconds over Feliz. That's kind of stabilized. Feliz has been able to hold that at bay. Simpson kind of probably just has it on cruise control for the most part right now. But our closest battle is still this one between Sircone, Spears, and Mercedes.
Yeah, these guys have. It's nice to see we got a little bit of a train here with a little bit of battling going on. Josh Spears doing a great job of holding off Corey Sircone the last several laps, and Corey Sircone certainly wanting to move up. But Artie Mercedes is all over the back of him. So as we've seen in the past, Rob, the second place guy, if he tries to make that move and it doesn't work, that third place often is able to take advantage and get one for free.
No doubt. I'm just taking a look here in chat. Looks like Evan McKay in chat saying he just lost his power. So that's what happened to him. I was actually just about to take a look and see what possibly happened to him, but he's disappeared. Unfortunate for him. Not the race that he's going to want to have, as he was battling with teammate Blake Seedy up front. They were in that 5-car pack that we saw early on. But it looks like Joey Costello going to be our first car into pit road. He's going to dive in, try for the undercut here. We didn't see much success for the undercut in race 1, so hopefully it works out a little better for Costello, as it looks like Spears and Sircone both going to come into the pits too as well. Try and take advantage of the undercut here, but both of them were battling on track, so interesting to see here if they come back out on track together, or if one or the other is able to leapfrog the other one. Rich?
Yeah, the only time really the undercut's going to work is if you feel you're being held up by the guy in front of you, because it's not like they're taking tires and they're getting fresh tires to get a little more grip, a little more pace. So you're really looking for clear track position, and with them going in together, maybe that might not be the best choice, but we will find out. We're going to follow along again with Juan Malagon in the Mercedes. Juan doing a great job so far. Right now he's up 5 positions overall. I think he may have got one for free there with pit stops, but Juan having a decent race after his start. Devin Brock continuing on, follow along with him as Devin following Juan, trying to close that gap down and doing a great job in that Castrol car and looking quite good tonight.
Yeah, we saw Brock battling with Ostrich. He's been able to drop Ostrich back almost 2 seconds off his tailpipe. His focus is forward now on Malagon. We haven't seen either one of these drivers in the pit, so it'll be interesting to see if possibly Brock tries the undercut as well. As his last lap time by was almost 2/10 quicker than Juan Malagon. So if he can continue that pace, the undercut might work for him, but we're going to see both of them head by pit entry and continue on for another lap. But Spears and Sircone back out on track. Looks like Corey Sircone was able to leapfrog Josh Spears through pit strategy. Spears with a 39.9 to Sircone's 38 flat. So a little quicker pit stop for Corey Sircone. Hopefully he's got enough fuel on board, but pit strategy's played out well for him. That's going to move him up ahead of Josh Spears. We'll see where they cycle through once the rest of the field comes in for their service.
Yeah, him and Joey Costello both had the exact same amount of time in their stalls. So if Joey's got enough fuel, I'm thinking Corey's also got enough fuel. So perhaps that Porsche of Josh Spears is just a little more thirsty. Continuing on, we got Juan Malagon still out there. Juan sitting in 6th place right now. No pit yet. We're 24 minutes and 20 seconds into this 40-minute race. I think the drivers still got a little more time before they need to take that mandatory pit stop for fuel. Let's just hope all of these drivers get in quickly enough and make sure they have enough fuel to get all the way to their stall, unlike what we saw earlier in the fixed series.
Yeah, we had one of our drivers need a little extra boost across the line to finish up, so I suspect we probably won't see that again tonight with the open setups. Our drivers are able to trim the cars out a little bit more rich where they can kind of save a little more fuel, not as much aerodynamic downforce slowing the car up. But Devin Brock still trying to put some pressure on Juan Malagon, not able to close that gap. He kind of stalled out here once he's got to about 7/10 back of Malagon. Malagon been able to steady that gap. He's got his teammate Luis Grullon up ahead. And we got some more of our field coming in. Looks like Statnik, Rodriguez Santos, Artie Mercedes, Adam Ostrich, all coming into the pits to get their service done. So we've got to be nearing the end of the pit service cycle time right now. Only a matter of time before the rest of the field comes in.
Yeah, I would think we might be, we're on lap 50. I would think at the end of this lap, we may see a bunch more of our drivers coming in for pit stops. So right now, it looks like we've got half a dozen cars in the pit stops. And we're going to continue on, though. We're looking at Kevin Simpson. He's led this race quite some time and looking quite good out there. He's got a 2.5-second lead now over Jim Feliz. Kevin doing a great job tonight, sitting 6th overall in the championship and looking to make huge moves with tonight if he continue on and hold on for this victory.
Yeah, strong showing from Simpson qualifying on pole, and he's led it to this point 26 minutes into the race. So just a matter of putting in clean, quick laps, holding that gap over Jim Feliz. Feliz, our outside pole sitter, he's maintained his spot too as well. Unfortunately, he's fallen back out of the draft of Simpson, but holding steady over Emmett Lindquist. Lindquist is up 2 spots from where he qualified. He's was able to capitalize on that incident from ZD, move around a couple cars through there, and no looking back at that point in time once he was able to leapfrog around. So we haven't seen pit stops yet from our top 3. We'll see where they cycle back through. They should come back out in front, but the real interesting ones will be to see where Costello, Stadnik, Rodriguez Santos, and that group of cars cycle through once Malagon, Fernando Jaquez, Luis Grullon, Pete Mejia, once they all come in for their services. Rich?
Yeah, the top 3, I don't expect to see any changes unless somebody makes a really poor mistake entering the pits or exiting the pits. But it's the guys a little further back where it'll be interesting to see what happens, because right now it's anybody's guess. Meanwhile, we're continuing on with Corey Sircone. He has taken his pit stop. Him following Oliver Rodriguez Santos, who has also stopped for his mandatory fuel stop. These guys battling here right now, they're sitting in at 13th and 14th. As we see a couple more cars enter the pits. Following along here with Artie Mercedes. He's staying out, it looks like, for another lap. Or Artie, actually, sorry, Artie's already come in for his service. And getting up nice and tight on the back of Josh Spears. Artie looking to make some moves here, and Josh having to get a little defensive to hold him back.
Yeah, we saw Spears battling earlier with Sircone. Sircone was able to leapfrog Spears through pit strategy, but now Spears having to deal with Artie Mercedes. Mercedes looking strong right now, putting a lot of pressure on the back of that Porsche of Josh Spears. But we're still waiting for, I believe, our top 8 cars on timing and scoring to come in for their pit cycle. So right now, Joey Costello is our highest placed car that has pit. So once the top half of the field starts to cycle through, we'll see where Joey cycles through. Him and Stadnik were up in about 4th or 5th, if I remember correctly, before they came in for the pit cycle. So they should be able to work back up into that position as Devin Brock's come in now for his service. And he'll get some fuel, no need for tires. And then he'll be back on track and resume his battle with the rest of the field. But Fernando Haka is up 9 spots. Our leader in Pro Championship still yet to come in for his fuel here, Rich. Trying to push it as far as he can with that Ferrari. Up into 5th right now. I suspect once he cycles through, what are we running? About 40 seconds. Cone to cone pit stop time. That's going to put him probably somewhere back in around 14th, 15th with Josh Spears and Artie Mercedes at this point.
Yeah, it looks like we've got, it looks like really we've got more than half the field still of, or the top, 7 anyways, have not come in yet. And being a little miserly on fuel and trying to take it all the way to the limit and minimize the chance of getting caught out in track position and just extending it as far as they can. Lighter car, a little bit faster.
No doubt. Devin Brock still trying to chase down Luis Grullon up ahead as his teammate, who Brock was chasing down earlier, has jumped into the pits. Or no, sorry, Brock jumped into the pits. So that's dropped him back. So we'll see if Brock's able to cycle back through, but still waiting for some time. Looks like our leaders are coming in, Feliz, Simpson, Lindquist. So we are definitely at the tail end of the pit cycle here now, as you can see Feliz on track there. Or sorry, in the pits, it's still Blake Ziti getting repaired. So there's Kevin Simpson coming across through Blake Ziti. There's Jim Feliz there. Oh, as you see a puff of smoke coming out of the back of Blake Ziti's car there on pit road. So not only does he have body repairs now, Rich, he's got some engine troubles too as well.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Blake and Kevin Simpson. It looks like a nice clean pit stop, and away he goes back into the lead and never gave it up. He's run this from pole position, led the race up Kern 1, and he's been leading start all the way to lap 18 so far. Rob doing a great job. Joey Costello sitting in 4th place right now. Joey looking to get up on the back of Emmett Lindquist, but he's sitting there 2.3 seconds behind, and got a fair gap between all of our first few drivers. There's nobody really battling now.
Yeah, the top half of the field fairly spread out, but Devin Brock, Juan Malagon, Luis Grullon, they're going to renew this battle here. As we saw, Devin Brock was the first one to bite into the pits, but once Malagon and Grullon went in for their service, they cycled back out right in front of them. So we'll see if Devin Brock's got anything to offer them here tonight. We've got 3 different manufacturers here battling it out: a McLaren, a Mercedes, and an Acura. So it'll be interesting to see which one prevails. We've seen what's happened to a number of Acuras and Porsches here this evening, losing the back end. So we'll see if Devin Brock's able to hold that Acura at bay and not lose the back end as he's closing up the gap on Malagon. Definitely got a little more pace. Tires a little more cleaned up as Brock came in a lap earlier for his service, where Malagon and Grullon just trying to get back up to speed here. You see Brock, little wiggle heading into the corner to collect it up. That's going to cost him a 10th or 2, but this 3-car battle for 6th place is going to rage on.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're trying to battle against 2 teammates, though, and the teammates are going to do everything they can to make sure Devin stays behind them. We'll take a look back off the back of Luis Grullon, looking back at Juan Malagon and Devin Brock. Luis having himself a decent race tonight. He's up 4 positions from his starting position. He's sitting in 6th overall right now. Juan Malagon 7th right behind him. Devin Brock in 8th.
Let's take a look back here at Artie Mercedes and Josh Spears. Mercedes tight up on the back bumper of Spears. We'll see if he makes a move into turn 1. He's going to try it around the outside. If he can get side by side, we've seen this happen a number of times. If you can get side by side into turn 1, you'll have the preferred line into the second corner. But you got to make that pass stick. Otherwise, the car on the outside for turn 2 is going to have the preferred line into the next corner. You see Spears is able to hold off the charge by Mercedes. Mercedes going to drop his tires into the kitty litter there, kick up a little bit of dust, but didn't seem to really lose any time there. Actually, you look like he even gained a little bit of time on the back of Josh Spears.
Yeah, it looked like Artie was going to be able to make that move around the outside, but unfortunately, I mean, it may have just been me, but it looked like the back end got a little bit loose on him exiting turn 1, and that allowed Josh Spears to drive away and hold off the charge and, live to fight for another, 3/4 of a lap until Artie might be able to close back up again.
Yeah, no doubt. This battle that we focused on earlier, Grullon, Malagon, Brock, kind of stabilized here. Nobody really making any gains, but we got a battle further back. Pete Mejia and Ivan Bassono. Looks like Bassono going a little wide. Mejia looks to the inside. He's going to make that move. He'll pick up 17th place. It's going to drop Bassono back into 18th.
Yeah, Pete's having really kind of holding position from where he qualified. He's just up 1 position now overall on the day. Not the strongest effort, but definitely running a decent race and battling hard here with Ivan Bassano. Nice to see no matter where you are in the field, you've got somebody else with you. So these 2 drivers, they're battling for 17th position, and see what happens with Josh Spears coming around. Josh trying to make a move. And there we go. Going hard on the outside.
It's Artie Mercedes
And,
trying it again
Mercedes,
around the
yeah.
outside into turn 1. Although he's got a little bit more overlap in turn 2, but Spears is going to fight back. He'll have preferred line on the next corner. So unfortunately for Mercedes, unable to make that move again this time by. He's going to want to try and get himself around the inside into turn 1. You may lose some into turn 2, but you'll have the prime position into turn 3 next time by. So we'll see if he changes his strategy up, if he tries to make another move, but with only a little over 4 minutes to go, he's running out of time.
Yeah, that's a great camera angle, Rob, for that turn 1 battle that we're going to be seeing. I'd like to see that some more, maybe if we get any close racing coming up into turn 1. We're going to continue following along here. A little bit of a gap, but Corey Cercone is coming up and still trying to follow these cars of Fernando Jaquez and Oliver Rodriguez Santos. Corey not able to get up there and make any moves, but doing all right in his own right, up 4 positions, as is Fernando Jaquez ahead of him. But once again, the big mover and shaker tonight, the hard charger, Oliver Rodriguez Santos, up 7 positions ahead of both of them.
Yeah, big moves by Rodrigo Santos tonight. Kind of holding down the charge for the CRT Chabao team on the pro side is unfortunately for where is Fernando Jaquez not too far back from just behind this battle. So the 2 of them actually working together, Rich, trying to hold off Cercone, but Cercone unfortunately no teammate to fight with in the battle here. He would probably love to have a teammate to try and go toe to toe with those 2 CRT Chabao cars. As Corey Cercone with a little bit of connection issue there, quickly blinks out, comes back in. So hopefully that stabilizes for the end of the race.
Yeah, all those SRTE cars, and Corey's out on an island of his own, battling against the Chabao cars, and doing a good job, but just not able to make any moves here. And Fernando Jaquez doing a great job of thus far holding off Cercone really wanting that move. But meanwhile, we're going to go back up, take a look at Kevin Simpson. We haven't shown him for a while. Kevin's got himself a 3-second lead over Jim Feliz. being start to finish, doing a great job tonight, and just kind of almost on cruise control. I'm not saying he's making it look easy, but he's maintained a decent gap. Never had a lot of pressure applied to him since early on in the race, and just put in some clean, consistent laps.
Yeah, we saw sorry, not last week, the week 2 at Watkins Glen. Simpson had a bit of a catastrophe through the bus stop. Unfortunate race for him. So good to see him bounce back this week up top of the race standings here in the pro category, leading it from right now green flag to potentially checker flag, as I believe we might be on the second to last lap. Didn't quite catch the time when Kevin crossed the line. So getting down to the nitty gritty here, Rich. Last chance for our drivers to try and find a way around the car ahead of them. Is speaking cars ahead, Devin Brock still trying to find a way around Juan Malagon. Malagon's been able to hold Brock at bay once he's closed that gap, not allowing to get any closer to try and make a dive. Brock gonna have to try and find another way around.
Yeah, it's as we witnessed all night, Rob. It's really difficult to make moves here. If you don't get a move done around turn 1, you're really hoping for a mistake by the guy ahead of you. And Juan Malagon just running clean, up 4 positions, and just running. Oh, as I say that, he catches a little bit of dirt, sprays a little bit up in the back of Devin Brock, allows Devin to close up huge, but is that enough? We will see.
Yeah, he's definitely close enough to make a move if something happens to the back end of Malagon's car, if he has to gather it up again. But unfortunately, see through the looks like the higher speed sections that Mercedes is able to eke out a 10th or 2 over the Acura, but the Acura able to dive deep into the braking zones here. So let's see our leader Kevin Simpson heading to the line here. Should be the start of the final lap. He's going to cross just before the clock ticks over the 40-minute mark. So there we go. We are on the final lap. Barney waving the white flag. We'll see if Devin Brock has anything for Juan Malagon, as that's the battle for 7th place. Malagon holding down that position. Brock trying to take it away.
Yeah, Devin's been consistently right behind him, and Juan's made a couple of little minor mistakes, but nothing big enough to let Devin get by. Devin too far back behind here to try and make any moves. It's just his goal right now. I think he's just got to get it up nice and tight and be there in case something happens, because otherwise it's going to be real tough to get by Juan Malagon on this tough to pass Mugello circuit.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it all night. Both the series that we've watched, real hard overtaking opportunities. Unlike next week at Road America, Road America definitely has 3 great overtaking opportunities, so I expect to see a whole lot more passing next week in both series. But right now, we've got the final lap here at Mugello to finish up. Simpson still out front, got that gap at 3 seconds, still holding strong. Feliz in second, almost 3 seconds over Lindquist, and then Lindquist another 3 seconds over Costello. So our podium fairly set as we see Malagon going out in the kitty litter again. Has to gather it up. It didn't seem to lose any time. Didn't look like Brock was able to close in at all.
I think he's just teasing Brock at this stage. That's 2 laps in a row, and when he's done that, and just saying, "Hey, here, have some dust, because I'm going to stay ahead of you here."
As we take a look back to the front, our leader Kevin Simpson heading to the checkered flag. He's going to bring home round 4 of the sprint series, and the Throttle Freaks. Jim Flees in second, Emmett Lindquist in third. We'll check back in on this battle here as they're heading into the final set of corners. Cross to the front straight line. Devin Brock unable to make a move around Juan Malagon. See if Artie Mercedes has a late chase for Josh Spears. Looks like Spears is going to be able to hold off Mercedes for 12th place. Although Mercedes looks like he got a great run out of the final corner. Unfortunately, going to run out of straight to make a move. Spears is going to hold on to that spot.
One more lap, unfortunately, as we watch Adam Ostrich coming in 14th. Adam losing 7 positions on the day. Nestor Santana. We'll watch the rest of the field follow through.
And there we go. Douglas Corey will be the final car across the line. We've unfortunately lost a few cars throughout this one, but that's going to wrap up the Sprint Series at Mugello. Just wait for timing and scoring to finish up here, and we'll take a look at our final results. Should be populating up here now. Looks like Kevin Simpson, as we saw, brings it home from pole to pole. Jim Feliz, second place. Emmett Lindquist is going to round out the podium. Joey Costello in fourth. Matt Stadnick in fifth. Luis Grullon in sixth. Juan Malagon in seventh. Devin Brock in eighth. Oliver Rodriguez in ninth. Fernando Jaquez rounds out the top 10. Corey Saccone 11th, Josh Spears 12th, Artie Mercedes in 13th, Adam Ostrich in 14th, Nestor Santana in 15th, Pete Mejia in 16th, Ivan Bassano 17th, Douglas Curry 18th, Blake Seedy, unfortunately we saw, did not make it to the end. Evan McKay with power issue, Sean Carmody out early, and Sean Mulholland is our admin.
Yeah, and those results there, that should move the Solpec Precision Racing team up to the front, I would think, Rob. Now, they were sitting in second place behind CRT Chabal Racing team, but only 10 points behind. With that strong result, I think next week we're going to see a switch in the team championship.
Could be, Rich. It could most definitely be. We'll have to see how that plays out next week and see what comes of it. But right now, we've got bring our winner, Kevin Simpson, into the booth. Kevin, congrats, pole-to-pole win. Looks like you were able to get out front and just put it on cruise control. What were you seeing from your seat?
Yeah, so I had a really good quality lap. I set a personal best, which was kind of surprising, So I kind of set my car up for the long run, and I had a minimal lead over Jim, and I guess he made a mistake. He's usually a lot faster than I am, so he made a couple of mistakes. So it was just a matter of save tires, save fuel, and then he would start catching up, and then I would, put the pressure back on, because I was saving tires and fuel. So when he closed the gap, I was able to stretch it out just a little bit. So, man, good times.
Yeah, Mugello seemed to be a tricky track for the rest of the field to try and find a way to make a maneuver. Not a whole lot of great overtaking opportunities here. So being out front, definitely an advantage. How much time did you put in this week in working on passing places here if you couldn't quite get out to the front?
Yeah, so I struggled with that in officials passing. So I kind of changed my strategy from number one, I went from a short stack gear set to an FIA that was more fuel efficient. And because there's only, honestly, you kind of need somebody to make a mistake on an exit, whether it be the last turn going into the long stretch, the front stretch, or there's another opportunity in the backside. I don't remember exactly where it is, but basically two places that you have legit opportunities to pass. Other than that, you're waiting on a mistake. And I'm just not that talented, so I changed my mindset to fuel saving and tire saving, and it paid off.
Yeah, it definitely paid off. We head to another track that I guess is famous for running real low downforce trimmed out cars at Road America. How are you feeling confidence-wise heading into next week?
I'm decent at Road America, and I guess the Acura, it looks like it's OP right now. So, things are subject to change, but I'm decent at Road America, and I'm really looking forward to 2 weeks from now. That's my home track, Circuit of the Americas.
Oh,
anyway,
excellent.
I want to say thank you to Solpec, to Bruzy, our sponsors. Shout out to my teammate David Mendoza. He couldn't be here tonight. He had to work, which is a bummer. He's kind of our team leader. But Emmett and Adam, they both stepped up. And it was good times. So anyway, thanks for having me, guys.
Excellent job, Kevin. Best of luck next week at Road America.
Thank you much.
Okay, that was Kevin Simpson, our overall winner. Let's see. Richard Swindells is caught up with Jim Feliz, our second overall place finisher.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jim,
hey guys.
Hey, congratulations on second tonight, Jim. Didn't quite have enough for Kevin, but a great race overall. How did it go in your opinion?
Yeah, I thought it went pretty darn well. I think Mugello is a track that I really like, so it was nice to be able to just kind of put things together tonight, have a good result, finish on the podium, and tried to stick with Kevin, but I think he had me on pure pace tonight, certainly over the race distance. Thought I could maybe stay with him, but made a little mistake earlier on, and once I got out of drafting range, I think that was it. He kind of checked out after that, but second place I think is still a great result for me, so happy to be on the podium and talking to you guys.
Oh, for sure, definitely. We see a lot of SRTE cars out there tonight, and lots of hard battling. Looks like you guys really put your work in this week.
Yeah, it's fun being part of a big team like that. There's so many great guys. They get practice in during the week and share things with each other, and we just kind of all push each other a little bit and help each other get faster. So really great group over there, and big shout out to all the guys.
Excellent. Next week's Road America is that a track you enjoy, or what are you expecting next week?
Yeah, it's a fun track. I think the Acura, the Porsche are maybe going to struggle around there a little bit, just in terms of top end speed. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some of the Ferrari guys, back at the front next week. But we'll see how it goes.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your second, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Okay, that was Jim Feliz, our P2 winner. And then last up, we'll have a chat with Joey Costello, our top placing AM. Joey, well done out there, P4 overall. How'd you see the race from your seat?
Pretty dicey. Definitely a lot of movement in that initial phase of the race. A lot of guys with pace up there, and it's a track where if you step out of line or lose time a little bit, that someone's going to be right on you.
Yeah, we saw that SRTE was fairly strong in the Fix Series race, and then again, there was a bunch of your team members, although some of you were on opposing teams and so forth, but intermingled up towards the front. Looks like you guys were kind of working together. Looks like Blake Zeedy unfortunately had a little bit of a spin. I'm not sure if it was your car or if it's Stadnik's car that just kind of caught the corner of him. What kind of did you see there? Was it something you had to kind of gather yourself up in? It looked like almost a couple cars got collected in that.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Actually, Blake had wheel damage from the corner prior. I guess he got clipped a little by Emmett, and super unfortunate for him. It was a kind of a light tap, but it broke his right rear wheel, and I think he was trying to give me some space. I didn't know that was the case at the time, and I accidentally got into him a little bit. Looks like there might have been some net code too, but super unlucky for him. He had a good pace up there today.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, but a great finish for you, P4. We head to Road America next week. According to Kevin Simpson, what he's seeing right now is the Acuras look like they're the preferred car to have next week as far as the times right now. Feeling confident heading into Road America, or is it a track that's kind of been the bane of your existence?
No, that's a track I love, so I'm very much looking forward to racing there. I've never raced there in the Acura. I used to be a Ferrari guy, so I was always pretty strong there just with that car's ability around that track. So it'll take some time to adapt, but if it sounds like the Acura is good there, I'm excited to race next week.
Well, congrats on the P4. Anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone SRT, we had some guys step up and host races this week and get a lot of good practice in, and Matt and Jim in particular had outstanding pace here this week and helped get me up to speed.
Well done. Best of luck to you next week, Joey, and hopefully we're chatting again.
Thanks. See you guys. Take care.
Okay, that was our AM winner, Joey Costello. And Rich, that's going to wrap it up for us here at Mugello. Next week, we head to Road America, where I suspect we'll see, not only does it come with a lot of passing at Road America, there's generally a lot of carnage too as well.
And it's a track we both love, and I know very well, Rob. So I'm really, really looking forward to Road America.
Well, and I expect you to have all the insight and knowledge next week, Rich. We're going to tap your vast knowledge of Road America and what
my
to
vast
expect.
open wheel driving knowledge, will you?
But that said, for my partner, Richard Swindell's in the booth, and myself, Rob Campbell, we're going to sign off till next week. We will see you then.
Good night.